without air conditioning.
It's 80 degrees in the classrooms, and it was the worst. It was the worst.
Soaring temperatures creating dangerous conditions and making life difficult for people all across the West. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. Temperatures topped 100 degrees in many places today, from the Pacific Northwest to the Southwest. This heat wave this week is posing serious challenges. The temperatures especially brutal for crews working to put out several large wildfires. And some students are dealing with hot classrooms that don't have air conditioning. Southern California is just one area where temperatures climbed today. Here is a live look tonight at Santa Monica Beach, where you can see many people out and about trying to cool off in the water right now. For more, let's bring in KTVU meteorologist Mark Tamayo, who can tell us just how long this extreme heat is going to stick around. Mark?
Well, Alex, especially in Southern California, right onto the weekend and into Monday. So take a look at these real hot temperatures down in Southern
And a combination of heat and erratic winds throughout this weekend expected to make it difficult for crews trying to control wildfires across the West. One of the new fires is in Southern California. The line fire started last night in San Bernardino County. People in some parts of Highland have been warned they may need to evacuate. This fire has grown to more than 1,100 acres with no containment on the flames. The cause of the fire is under investigation. In Oregon, thick smoke is hampering efforts to fight the Rail Ridge fire. The flames are burning through the Ochako National Forest, about 120 miles east of Bend. This fire started with a lightning strike on Monday. More than 107,000 acres have burned. Air quality advisories are in effect in 9 Oregon counties tonight because of smoke from fires in that state, as well as Idaho. Seattle Public Schools struggling to deal with high temperatures since many of the campuses don't have air conditioning. Some school thermostats reading over 80 degrees indoors. The Kent School District also says its air conditioning is not available in most spaces. Parents not happy, posting several comments calling for accountability. Students at one high school say the heat has become unbearable.
It's kind of hard to pay attention and do the work when, you're dying of heat.
We can't learn without air conditioning.
Kent schools are hoping to raise about $100 million from a tax increase over the next few years, which could fund HVAC improvements. Seattle schools already got that tax increase, which is expected to raise around $800 million in 5 years, with about 5% going toward those HVAC units. We have a tragic update tonight on a shooting we told you about earlier this week that wounded 2 Phoenix police officers. The department said tonight one of those officers has died after being treated for several days in the hospital. Zane Coolidge was a 5-year veteran of the department, a husband and a father. He and another officer, Matthew Haney, were shot on Tuesday night as they responded to reports of a man breaking into a car. Officer Haney has been released from the hospital. The suspected shooter, Saul Ball, has been arrested. Republican vice presidential candidate JD Vance in Southern California tonight as he continues a tour of West Coast states. Vance visited the U.S.-Mexico border near San Diego to discuss immigration issues. The Ohio senator promised former President Trump does have a plan to stop what he called the insanity at the southern border.
You know what Donald Trump and I want to do? We want to go to war with the Mexican drug cartels. We want to close down the American southern border. We want to reinstitute deportations.
Vance also helped raise money for the GOP ticket today. He attended a fundraiser in Rancho Santa Fe, about 40 miles or so north of the border in northern San Diego County. The Democrats' vice presidential nominee will be campaigning here in the West next week. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is planning to attend a campaign rally in Reno, Nevada on Monday. Then he'll attend a campaign reception in Las Vegas on Tuesday. After that reception, Walz will head for Phoenix, where he'll attend what the campaign is calling political engagement on Tuesday afternoon. 2 political merchandise vendors in Southern California see no problem with selling their goods side by side. Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf shows us how they're setting an example for voters, no matter who they support.
The presidential debate now center stage at this Orange County intersection.
We tried to keep taxes down.
One vendor selling merchandise for Republican nominee Donald Trump.
Kamala opens up a space for respect.
The other supporting Democratic nominee Kamala Harris. Is it awkward at all?
No, not at all. Do you feel awkward at all, Steve? Not at all.
T-shirts, hats, and stickers.
I've got a Trump flag here.
Steve set up his Trump stand about 8 weeks ago.
Flags.
Sandra started about 4 weeks later for Harris. Is that honk for you or for him?
We don't know.
A busy intersection they separately targeted in North Tustin for business, with parking nearby and enough space for two. Are you guys friends?
We are now. We have become friends as we've worked together here.
We don't debate. I honestly say that we talk and listen to each other.
She has her customers, I have my customers.
Right now the temperature is 101 degrees, but some interactions with customers can make it feel even hotter.
I mean, that's why we have the sign up that says we both ask that you please be nice, so that people see that we are talking.
There really shouldn't be any hate for anybody coming up here on either side.
Honking and yelling almost as constant as drivers on the 405.
I'm supporting Trump.
Customers themselves always know who they're shopping for.
A demonstration of where hopefully some of us can get to. I can't get here yet.
What about seeing the two sides together?
That's crazy.
But I'm glad it's peaceful, right?
Yeah, it should be, I guess. I don't know.
One intersection with different views.
Steve, there you go.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Bringing both sides together. Reporting in Tustin, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News.
Sentencing in the hush money case against former President Trump will be postponed until after the November election. Manhattan Judge Juan Merchan announced that long-awaited decision today, saying Trump will be sentenced on November 26th. Judge Merchan is also considering a defense request to overturn the verdict on the grounds of presidential immunity. Trump was convicted back in May of 34 counts of falsifying business records to conceal a payment to adult film actress Stormy Daniels. Trump was also in court today in a separate case in New York. His lawyers are trying to overturn the verdict that found him liable for sexual abuse and slander against former columnist E. Jean Carroll. The jury awarded her $5 million in that civil case. Trump has vehemently denied her claim. Coming up tonight, here on West Coast Wrap, breaking records this NFL season, and we're not talking about the players on the field. Tonight, sportsbooks gearing up for betting like they've never seen before. Also, Boeing's Starliner spacecraft heads back home. We'll break down how scientists are setting it up for a landing in New Mexico. We want to get back now to our top story tonight, and that is the extreme heat taking hold all across the West. Let's bring back in KTVU meteorologist Mark Tamayo.
Hi there, Alex. Yeah, we were talking about these real extreme temperatures, especially focused in Southern California. Take a look at these readings. Northridge 115, Long Beach and Los Angeles tying a record. Look at that, Los Angeles reading 111 degrees. Even out toward the coast, Santa Barbara 106. Now the heat advisories, the heat warnings continue through the weekend and into Monday. So this is not over just yet. So all these areas in red, excessive heat warnings in place. Take a look at some of the highs from today across parts of the West. You'll notice even up in the Pacific Northwest, those temperatures up in Portland at 94 degrees. So the heat is up there as well. As you can see, the distribution of the heat warnings in red, the heat advisories in yellow for today. Now the satellite, there's a little system here moving into Oregon's little circulation. This will send temperatures down in Northern California, that little system, as we do move into the weekend. Not a major drop off, but still a bit of a cooling trend, say, for the San Francisco Bay Area. As we do head into the weekend. But still, as we can show you, the camera from today in Seattle is another warm to hot day, another hazy day as well. The camera's picking up on that. It's been a couple days of dealing with that haze. 88 degrees in San Francisco. Some areas of fog this morning, but clearing out to this afternoon. And of course, San Francisco is 70, but if you do head to the inland neighborhoods, temperatures close to 100 degrees. And then in the Phoenix area, the heat continues in Arizona, 111 degrees this afternoon. You can see some of the cloud buildups out there. Phoenix has cooled off to 107. Well, cooled off. It's still really hot there. Las Vegas, 101. Reno, 84 degrees. You can see Portland in the 90s and Seattle in the lower 80s. Here's the plan for tomorrow. It's hazy and warm for Seattle for Saturday. Warm to hot in the San Francisco Bay Area. Sunshine in Denver. And, of course, the real focus of the heat here, Los Angeles and the Phoenix area for tomorrow. So the Saturday forecast. Here is the breakdown for a few cities up and down the West Coast. And these Bay Area temperatures cooling off a little bit compared to it today. In Southern California, Palmdale, Santa Clarita, 106 to 110 degrees. In terms of cloud cover and shower potential, looks like some clouds moving into Oregon, and let's keep an eye on some scattered showers that could develop in portions of northern Arizona into Colorado as well. So over the next 3 days, here's the game plan. Seattle warms tomorrow, but cools off a little bit into Sunday and into Monday. Overall, it's cooler, but tomorrow's the warmest day of the weekend, I'm trying to say. San Francisco, temperatures mainly in the 60s to right around 70 degrees. But here's the heat in Los Angeles and Phoenix. And unfortunately, this will be a case not only to the weekend, Alex, but also into Monday as well.
All right, Mark, thank you.
Yeah.
Police say the deaths of a Utah woman and her 3 children are the result of a murder-suicide. Investigators in the city of West Haven near Ogden say 32-year-old Maribel Ibarra shot her children, ages 4, 2, and 1, before killing herself. Their bodies were found in a vehicle in their driveway on Tuesday night. Her family issued a statement expressing shock and sadness and saying, quote, "We unfortunately knew nothing about her mental health." The father and son arrested in connection with this week's deadly school shooting in Georgia have declined to seek bail. 14-year-old Colt Gray and his father Colin Gray made their first appearances in court today. Colt Gray was advised of his rights along with the charges and potential penalties. Right now, he's facing 4 counts of felony murder. Prosecutors say additional charges will be filed.
When he was taken into custody on Wednesday, we did not have the identities or the conditions of the other victims, so we were not able to charge on those offenses.
Colin Gray faces several charges, including second-degree murder. He's being charged because he allegedly let his son possess the weapon. 2 students and 2 teachers were killed in Wednesday's attack at Appalachia High School. 9 other people were injured. We're learning tonight that the American woman who was shot to death in the West Bank today was a recent graduate of the University of Washington. A witness said 26-year-old Ayşenur Agi, an American of Turkish descent, was shot in the head by Israeli troops. The White House said it was deeply disturbed by the killing and called on Israel to investigate what happened. One of her professors said she was a volunteer with the International Solidarity Movement organization.
She was poetic and tender and compassionate towards everybody. Incredibly curious, open-minded. It's the greatest privilege of my life as an educator to have taught her. And now she will be my teacher forever.
Areas in the occupied West Bank have been the site of frequent demonstrations by Palestinians opposing the expansion of Israeli settlements. 3 teenagers have been arrested in connection with a wildfire in Southern California. Investigators say they started that fire back in July in Riverside using illegal fireworks. All of the teenagers are 16 years old. There are 27 different charges between the 3 of them. This fire destroyed several homes and scorched over 600 acres. Investigators say those suspects were identified using video footage that showed them leaving the scene. Boeing's troubled Starliner spacecraft is set to return to Earth tonight with a landing here in the West. NASA scientists are expecting the spacecraft will make a parachute landing in New Mexico at around 9 o'clock. It undocked from the International Space Station this afternoon. The spacecraft's crew will stay on the space station for 6 more months. Scientists say it's just safer for Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore to remain in space for now because of issues with Starliner's propulsion system. The astronauts are expected to fly home on a SpaceX craft coming up in February of next year. Football fans are expected to wager a record-breaking amount of money on the NFL season this year. The American Gaming Association predicts that bets will top $35 billion. Fox's Sunny Sai spoke with sportsbook operators in Las Vegas about how they're changing some of their rules.
I'm at the Westgate Superbook, which is just one of the many sports books here in Las Vegas where football fans can come to not only root for their favorite teams, but they can also make or lose a little money. Although bettors are expected to spend an all-time high this season, a couple experts tell me this might actually be their time to thrive.
For us, it really starts and ends with providing sports fans the best experience possible. So we invested a lot over the last 6, 9, 12 months in really making sure that our betting experience is as amazing as it can be.
Sports books like the one at Caesars are trying to give bettors a little more for their money. Since the start of the last NFL season, 3 more states have joined the legal sports betting world, bringing the total to 38 in the District of Columbia. More states means more people legally allowed to bet, which means more money into the industry. And sports books are competing to pull in some of that action.
This year, we actually lowered our pricing for betting football. Instead of the standard $1.10, you only have to lay $1.08 on the pros and only $1.09 on the college football side. So a little cheaper to bet here at the Superbook, but one of the reasons why we did that is because we have to try to stand out a little bit.
The American Gaming Association also reminds fans who are betting to set a budget and stick with it, know the odds, and to only bet with legal operators. In Las Vegas, Sunnyside, Fox News.
Nearly 50,000 public service workers are set to go on strike across the state of Washington on Tuesday. This walkout will include employees from state agencies, community colleges, as well as universities. The union says they have seen little progress on key contract issues since April, including issues like wages and staffing levels. U.S. job growth picked up in August but fell short of expectations. The Labor Department says 142,000 jobs were added in the month, and the unemployment rate dipped slightly to 4.2%. Analysts say the numbers suggest the labor market may be cooling slightly. But one member of the Federal Reserve Board of Governors said he does not believe the economy is headed for a recession. In Michigan earlier today, President Biden said his administration has now seen 42 straight months of job growth.
They told us we couldn't do it. Over 1.6 million jobs in construction and manufacturing. Where in the hell is it written that America can't lead the world again in manufacturing? We are leading the world in manufacturing, and we'll continue to.
With inflation and the labor market both cooling, the Federal Reserve is poised to lower interest rates at its next meeting coming up on September 17th. Stocks fell today to wrap up their worst week in over a year. Tech stocks took the brunt of the sell-off, including Nvidia, with a drop of 4% today. The Dow was down by 410 points. The Nasdaq dropped 436 points. That was over 2.5%. And the S&P was down by 94 points. Independent pharmacies are closing all across the country. Fox's Kennedy Hayes is in Denver tonight with a look at how those closures are making it harder for people to get access to potentially life-saving medications.
Some independent pharmacy owners blame lower prescription revenue and rising expenses. Now, of course, as more stores close, customers have fewer options. So some people may need to drive farther or pay more to get the medicine they need.
There is a ton of things on the counter. We're constantly fielding questions from patients, from doctors.
Kristen Holmes says she and her husband bought Capitol Heights Pharmacy 11 years ago. She says the pharmacy system in Colorado has gotten more stressful.
I think a lot of that has to do with some of the workplace conditions that are happening around our state and around the nation, that pharmacists are being overworked and don't have time to take lunches or take bathroom breaks.
According to one industry group, independent pharmacies make up nearly 40% of all pharmacies in America. In 2023, we lost about one independent pharmacy every day. We're seeing the same kind of numbers this year, and some major chains are also closing stores.
Independent community pharmacies, we've already been tracking that ourselves, but that paired now with these larger chains especially, it's really harmful for communities. It's expanding pharmacy deserts at a rapid pace.
Today, according to GoodRx Health, 46% of U.S. counties are pharmacy deserts, meaning people have to drive more than 15 minutes to reach nearby pharmacies, making it harder to get the medications they need at prices they can afford. According to the National Community Pharmacists Association, part of the problem is because of pharmacy benefit managers. Those are companies that negotiate prescription drug costs and insurance payouts, sometimes leading to lower reimbursements for store owners.
The way that reimbursements are happening, they have no good way necessarily to make money, like make revenue to stay open. A lot of these independent pharmacies, they're serving very small communities. Like they're often the sole healthcare provider within like a 5 to 10 mile radius.
Some of the states that saw the most pharmacy closures include Kansas, Wyoming, and Nebraska. In Denver, Kennedy Hayes, Fox News.
Coming up tonight, a group of college students takes home a big prize in a cybersecurity competition in Arizona. Why they're being celebrated at what's called the Hackademics event. Also adjusting to changing preferences, how California's wine industry is working to keep up with consumers' new tastes. September has been designated as Wine Month in California, and it comes at a time when the industry is struggling. Last year, 400,000 pounds of grapes went unused because of low demand. KCRA 3's Maricela de la Cruz has more tonight on the challenges wineries are facing.
California's wine production has begun. But despite producing 80% of all U.S. wine,
you know, it's been a roller coaster. That's the easiest way I can describe it.
winemakers across the state are experiencing fewer sales, with factors ranging from less consumption.
We're seeing that the older generation, they still drink their wines, but the younger generation, you know, they're curious about different products in alcohol.
To cheaper foreign wine.
Larger wineries are importing foreign bulk wine. These wineries are able to bring wine here much cheaper than we can grow it for today. Our growers continue to rise and meet the social, economic, and environmental standards that are set for them, but those same policies and standards are really making us uncompetitive on a global scale.
The impact felt beyond the business owners themselves.
When people are drinking less wine, you know, that has a reverberating effect to the farmers. And so, unfortunately, you're seeing a lot of vineyards being ripped out, particularly some old vine stuff.
This year, the California Association of Wine Grape Growers estimates 30,000 acres of wine grapes are being removed throughout the entire state. A blow to one of the world's largest wine producers.
California is the 4th largest wine producer in the world, and California ranks behind countries, Italy, Spain, France. California alone produces over 80% of the United States wine. And as a country, we actually consume far more wine than we make. So I feel that we really shouldn't have the issues that we're having today, at least in the U.S., if we just all supported local.
It's the local winemakers who are making the call to action to support California's local wine industry.
I'm not saying don't drink, you know, imported wine, because that's silly. I love imported wine, you know, but we need to, you know, be more advocates for our local wine.
In Sacramento, Maricela de la Cruz.
Finally tonight, a team of college students earned $2 million today, winning the top prize at an AI cybersecurity competition at Arizona State University. And they're happy about it. The 25-person team is called the Hackademics. They hail from Arizona State, the University of California, Santa Barbara, as well as Purdue University. They placed in the semifinal round of the DARPA AI Cybersecurity Challenge. Team members say implementing AI in their system helps streamline security.
Companies spend hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars a year on actual security. And to be able to do this automatically takes that load off of them.
And the final competition for them will be hosted at DEF CON, a hacking and cybersecurity conference happening next August in Las Vegas. The winning team takes home $4 million. Good night.